Alright, hello, I know this. Wait, I think it's been like 2 hours almost. Whoopsie. But yeah. I was like, I was debating if I should stream this late or not, because I won't be able to wake up on time tomorrow for Star Rail stuff. But I'm sure there's only like an hour left or something from the story quest, so let's try to finish that and we'll call it at night. It's gonna be so weird. I like finishing all the content at like one setting, but it's not possible.
Here we are. This is the place.
Huh, we might be too late. Looks like nobody's home. Oh, Cyno moves fast. If he was here, he's probably long gone by now.
I know that voice. Is that Tainari I hear?
Ah! Professor Zahahadi!
Wow, so it really is you. My goodness, whatever is going on tonight?
We're looking for Cyno. So, he's already been here.
Yes, not long ago, in fact. He knocked on my door and asked if I'd seen Cyrus today at all. I told him the old fool left early this morning, and I hadn't heard him come back. So we went to his place, and would you believe it? He's gone. Goodness knows where to. It must have alarmed Cyno, because he took off in an awful hurry after that. He never did explain what this was all about. How serious is it?
Well, if Cyrus isn't at home... Oh, it sure doesn't sound good.
Professor, did you hear that a student recently tried to extort Cyrus?
Why, yes. When I left the house that day, I noticed he was watering his flowers in the field in complete silence. He had a piece of paper clutched in his hand, and he looked lost in thought. I could tell something was troubling him, but he wouldn't tell me what it was. If Cyno hadn't happened to visit him that day, he'd probably still be holding on to that thing. After seeing the letter, Cyno told him to contact the Corps of 30, but Cyrus was very reluctant. He claimed it would only damage his reputation. Eventually, he relented, after much persuasion from Cyno.
Huh? Cyrus didn't want to report it? Well, that's strange. When we saw him, he seemed pretty okay with the idea of the kid getting his just desserts.
As a former sage, it's possible Cyrus still has enemies at the Academia. That's why Cyno was so insistent that he report the matter to the authorities. I was there while they were going back and forth over it.
So Cyrus initially hoped to stop this from going public. But why?
Oh, dear. What on earth has that old fool gotten himself wrapped up in? Oh, I do hope he's not in danger. Oh, I almost forgot. Cyno left me this letter to pass on to you. He wrote it when he came by earlier. He realized you might come looking for him.
Thank you.
What does it say? Let Paimon take a look. My friends,
I
this is
read
a
that.
rather
What's the point of letting me
complicated
read it if you're
affair.
gonna do it for me, Gabe?
Unfortunately, I cannot disclose more than that. I ask you to understand and accept that I had to act alone at this stage. Don't come after me.
Yep, that sounds like Cyno. Thank you, Professor. Please do not worry. We will do all we can to protect
Going
both
strong.
Cyno
That's
and
good.
Cyrus.
Don't give in to become diamond hands like me.
Traveler, Paimon, let's
Become
head
a
to the
Giga
Academia
Chad
and
diamond
regroup.
hander, not a wet noodle paper boy hand thing. I don't know what the freaking saying is for the freaking weaklings. Is it wet paper hands? I don't know what the saying is for people that freaking see a character that instantly pulls. I'm pretty sure you have enough though already, right? Last time you told me how many pulls you have, you have enough. So wait, are you saving for his light cone too? Yeah, I'm pretty sure you have a guaranteed like hard pity on him, don't you? Yeah, that's a guarantee basically, because you have like 60 in the bank. You won? Really? Do they not give you 10 free pulls when like the character drops? Or is it only because of freaking Robin? That's weird. I always remember to give you 10 free like pulls whenever a new character releases. Or was it just versions? Like only once per patch. Okay, there you go. Yeah. The game is so generous. I lose count how much free rolls they give out. Like compared to like Genshin.
You're here? I thought you were going after... Ah, I guess you lost their trail.
We went to Cyrus's house. No one was there. Cyno got there before us, but he was long gone by the time we arrived.
I would say like Impact 3 is like the most generous out of all of them, but they started doing the freaking Genshin thing, where like getting dupe of weapons is like really good. I was like, oh, oh no.
He didn't say where he was going?
No, he left us a letter and told us not to go after him.
So I feel like Impact 3 and like Star Rail's like on the same playing
Can't say I'm
field now.
surprised. Typical Cyno. Anyway, some updates on progress.
I mean, it makes sense. It's the same dev,
from memory
not the same
again,
dev,
but
same
in more detail
director,
this time.
whatever it is called, for both Impact 3 and Star Rail.
I checked some ancient texts for a similar design. The one I found was a little blurry, but the similarities in the general form and certain details were clear enough to confirm a
Acheron?
match.
Yeah.
So your
we're
build,
lucky
like
we
whenever
found
I see
anything
your
at all.
build,
It
you know
turns
what
out
I'm
the
looking
emblem was all
for.
but lost to history.
Like since I'm so
Scoured
picky
the
with
entire academia
gear.
collection, and that book was the only one with a record of the motif.
Meanwhile, Arav managed to get Uraka to disclose his source.
70 to 200? Wait, what do you mean? Crit damage?
The one who told him about Cyrus's embezzled funds was a young man from the desert. According to Uraka, he had a striking presence and
Are we talking
was
about
well-educated.
rolls?
Apparently, the two met in the tavern over a game of cards. The guy claimed to be in the city for business as part of a merchant caravan. Uraka was intrigued when he heard what his new
okay.
acquaintance had to say, and brought up the idea of extorting Cyrus for Mora. The guy encouraged him to go ahead with it, then handed him some pen and paper to write the letter.
Something sounds wrong here. Cause getting those ratios, you're losing out on something. Are you not running the ability set? Or the same class set? You're running the skill damage one, right?
I see. So it could be that this person planted the paper intentionally.
So, how do we find this guy? Did Uraka say where he is?
He doesn't know. He claims not to have seen him since that day in the tavern. The man gave him some tips on how to carry out the extortion, but from then on, Uraka was acting alone.
Something sounds really wrong. Your ratios sound like really like yours. Is your character really squishy?
Nephis and Arav have gone to meet the
And
core
how, like,
authority
does she at
and
least
review
have
the city's
speed?
entry and exit records.
And I'm not sure how good your attack percent is, because your attack percent should be around like 3,000 something.
Also, Nephis admitted that the Temple of Silence in the Academia is just a facade.
Attack is 4K. Okay,
The true Temple of Silence once came to the rainforest to establish a collaboration with the Academia. But, as time went by, the sages gradually became corrupt and foolish. The Temple of Silence felt that they could no longer trust the Academia.
I'm
and
assuming your
ended the
speed is in the
partnership.
negative, because
They
4K
retreated
is when you
back
have
to the
attack
desert
percent
about
boots.
400 years ago.
No, like, you're losing out on something.
Ever since its inception, the
Yeah,
Temple
your
of Silence
speed's
has been
dog
the
water, I
guardians of
assume.
King Deshret's civilization and belief
I
system.
have the light cone too, so I know
They
what it
traveled
does.
throughout Sumeru, sequestering and guarding any wisdom that posed a threat to the people's livelihoods. At its roots, it was a legitimate and reputable organization whose purpose was
The
to guide
moment you
people
get like
towards the right
CC'd
path.
and you don't have a cleanses, your Acheron does not get a turn.
The Academia of the day knew that the split would damage their reputation if it became a matter of public knowledge. And so, they set up a dummy organization of their own to conceal the truth.
E3. Yeah, but I'm not sure how to tell you how turn-based games work.
Not only that, but they managed to keep up the charade for hundreds of years.
I'm not sure how I can convince you that speed is king, and just because you have like a pusher and a cleanser doesn't mean you'll win.
So how did Cyrus become acquainted with the true Temple of Silence if they left centuries ago?
When you play a turn-based game, you try to make the character self-reliant and not have to use other team members as much. Like, the team member should be an accessory, not like a dependent thing.
I'll bet that's the question that bothered Cyno. Probably why he went after him in such a rush.
Like, if you cannot be self-reliant.
Whoever is behind this, getting
I don't know how to tell you that speed is king. Like if you're so like stuck in like big damage and like freaking, there's nothing I can do to convince you. You're too stuck.
He must have recognized it right away. That'll be why he didn't want to involve the authorities. He probably hoped to take care of the whole thing by himself. Unfortunately for him, Cyno had other plans.
Since the desert is where the Temple of Silence originated,
so
that is in all likelihood
I have to
Cyrus
explain so much about turn-based games.
I have to go after him.
Really? Are you sure that's a good idea?
Like, let me finish this story. I can like freaking Pepe Salavi you.
I should be fine, as long as I bring plenty of water. Besides, I just can't shake this.
I'm so like
feeling
fucking
that if
tilted.
we don't
Like,
catch up to them soon.
Oh god, man. Like, you kind of like have the Genshin mentality, which is really bad.
Oh, so that's Nafis, Tainari's master? Oh, we're finally getting to meet him in person.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Traveler in Paimon.
Speed so far.
Several independent eyewitnesses have reported seeing Cyrus and Mahamatra Cyno leaving the city at different times. Both were heading in the direction of Caravan Rebat. I was going to suggest that you join.
This is kind of why I want like PvP and like Star Rail, because the moment you realize how important speed is, it's just like, oh, you get lapped and you get shat on.
It may well be that no better choice was available to
126. That matters a lot.
On our legacy. I won't attempt to make you understand the Academia's perspective. Now is the time for action.
155. Bro, is supposed to be that fast.
I understand where you're coming from, Master. But I'm afraid the situation might be more complicated than we thought.
So, you don't see the issue with your comp at all?
Low profile, or risk making things worse.
So you can run Tuna Hilda units with Acheron. With Bronya. You see no problem in that. You're just going freaking S2 if Bronya Acheron gets a turn, it just instantly wipes out the enemies. For like fodder enemies, I'm like, yes, that's understandable. That will work because you cleave and deliver shit out of them.
Good point. If Cyrus is involved with the other side, or worse, if he's fallen into.
But like, you fight against a boss that does not go down in one turn, or like you can't break him or something, or like ignore his gimmick, you just kind of fucking die.
Everyone, we have to get Cyrus and Cyno back safely. We cannot afford to lose them.
Need our help? Whatever you need, we got you covered.
Really? Wonderful. You have my most sincere gratitude. Arav and I will continue to follow up on
the like, there's nothing I can do to convince you that the way you're building characters is like.
Ask you to cover the duties of the House of Dana.
Could be better. Like, it's not bad. I'm not saying it's not usable, but it's just like I see that shit. I'm just like, this is
Tainari.
A really brain-rotted way to look at how to play the game.
I am. Kaveh, I'll be okay. You stay behind to help Master, and I'll hate them.
Well, if you're sure, okay. But be careful.
I'm not going to talk about fucking builds with you anymore if you're going to be this way. Be like, I have no problems, and don't ask me for how to build your character, man.
Don't forget to ask
me to look at your units.
Will do. Let's go, Tainari. Hopefully we can catch up with Cyno before it's...
Knowing him, he's probably covered a fair distance already. But we still have a shot. Let's take it.
I already noticed like the argument's like no point, or like this discussion is no point when you said, she's not self-reliant, she needs 2 Nihility units. I'm like, this is not what I mean by self-reliant though, bro.
Okay, we made it to Caravan Ribat. Where should we go next? Maybe we should ask the nearby guards if they've seen anything.
Hold on. Look over there.
Is that Dia?
You sure you want to brave the desert alone? I mean, it's your choice at the end of the day, but still.
It's not my first time. I'll be fine.
How the heck did we catch a Cyno already? Didn't he like talk to like other people?
Cyno.
If you're really going to go through with this, then at least take our advice.
Yeah, this is why I really wish
packing
like
for your
there's
trip,
PvP
budget for
in Star
5 days
Rail.
more than you planned to
Or
spend
like you
out there.
watch like some E7 PvP, because you realize what I'm talking about when when I said make a character self-reliant.
Makes sense. Okay, I'll
Like
go get
you
ready.
gotta increase like how much like little can go wrong.
Thought we might find you here. You're trying to retrace Cyrus's steps, aren't you?
Didn't I tell you not to come after me? I thought I had a good lead on you.
There's no PvP though? That's what I'm saying. Because with PvP, you can stress test your units more.
Well, sorry, but we never agreed to that. Why would you go off on your own like this?
Nothing personal. It's just a complex situation. And I'd rather not involve anyone else if I can help it.
It was it?
Takes a special kind of person to get Cyno chasing them all the way out to Caravan Rebot.
Yeah, like there's no real content in Star Rail where like it punishes you for what is it? Every point of stat that matters.
But why so coy today, huh? You only gave us his
That's the
age and
thing. I don't think there's
description.
any real
Why can't you
content
reveal
where
his
like,
name? Is
damn,
he
your gear has to be
Cyno's most
super
wanted
good or you
something?
can't complete the content.
Oh, also, hey guys, it's been a while.
Dia and Candace! So nice to see you. Actually, seeing all of our friends is the whole reason we're here.
What do you mean? Oh my fucking. You know, I'll you know what? Just save those questions. I'll explain how freaking Trailblazer works tomorrow.
You're looking well. Glad to see it.
I feel like it should be pretty obvious what rope you're supposed to run it
in.
in.
Caravan Rebot on business.
The only issue with like Trailblazer, Harmony Trailblazer, right, is there's no good planetary set for him. There's nothing that's good. Like actually nothing that works with this kit. Like people might say, "Oh, you just go the freaking break effect set." I'm like, I mean, he could possibly reach 145 speed because he is a Harmony unit, but like, farming is such a fucking dog water. 130, that's so bad. I'm assuming that's like, is that with speed boots? That's like really bad for a Harmony unit.
Some people say they saw him.
Like 130 speed is like,
as an older guy heading
so
into
usually you want your
alone
DPS to be
with just a sumpter
125 to
beast in tow
134
and few
speed.
supplies.
Oh, that's really bad.
That's gotta be one heck of a story there.
Cyno, it's okay if you can't tell us anything about the case, but let us know how we can support you.
Hey, you just answered your own question right there. What rope should you run on Trailblazer? Some kind of break effect. It's just there's no good planetary set for him right now.
We're here to help however you need.
Like you could again,
The more
the
people we have
best one I
working
can think
on
of
this,
is literally
the
just his
quicker
break
we'll be able to
effect,
find the
the
person you
break
seek.
effect planetary one. But reaching 145 speeds is like, that's kind of difficult without like a 2-piece speed. But you want to run him 4-piece break effect set.
No, it's not that simple.
He doesn't need ER.
He'll be doing everything he can to avoid us.
Like if you're playing him properly, his own kit has his ulti permanently up.
We spoke with Zaha Hadid.
There's
From
no
what
way
she
you need
said,
ER.
It's
Like
pretty clear that he wants to try and
something
solve
is
this
wrong
on his
here
own.
if you put
It
ER
won't
rope
be
on him.
easy trying to find him in the desert when he's deliberately trying to
Like,
cover his
you're like
tracks.
misplaying him.
Sounds like this is far more complex than we imagined.
Because you should, like, without energy rope, you should nearly have his ulti or have 100% uptime on it.
Still, if he started from Caravan Rebot, the chances are that his route took him past our village. You may as well.
What's the average break effect rate for him? Considering he's a break effect unit, I have mine 181% right now, but he's not fully optimized yet. So I'm assuming the break, like, unironically, he actually can reach like 240%, like on average, I believe.
My thanks to you both.
If you run like the break effect planetary,
I will find a way to repay you.
Is 307? No, the more the better. Just make sure he's tanky and speed and it has ER.
No need to get all serious. Just buy a round of drinks next time.
Because his damage scales off break effect. You don't know how his kit works. Like again, I'll explain like how his thing works tomorrow, like in to you.
Right.
Like if you do not know how he works at all, I will explain it. No, so how he gets ER is from his trace. Read his top trace, I believe. I think, or it's its talent.
Yes.
Well, that's why you don't need ER rope on them.
Thank
like,
you.
You're like, oh, that's just so little. When you break multiple enemies, though, that shit counts.
All right.
That shit's freaking stacks. And if you're running the proper light cone on them, you don't even need to. Like, again, you don't need ER rope.
We'll be here.
Like if you're running the break effect harmony light cone on them, you get more. You get more ER. You get like energy. There's no way you need that rope.
And don't think you'd be imposing. You can depend on us.
I have to like explain this. I spent like freaking a few days. Like I don't think he's like super meta though. Like what people say. Like it does make the break effect stat more usable for other characters, but I don't think there's enough yet. Like so you think of like a Trailblazer comp, right? Harmony Trailblazer. You have Harmony Trailblazer. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. There's not enough break effect units, right? There's a few that come up your mind. Boot Hill, right? What is it? Ron May, Zhui Yi, Gallagher. Like, maybe Firefly? Does she scale off break effect directly? If she doesn't, then there's no point.
Of all who enter it, and only those with wisdom and courage shall prevail.
Like, I can maybe like think of like some of the Hildy units, like where is it?
No harm.
Luca, she scales really well with break effect. Like bleed, like or physical break effect is like really strong. Norse. Okay, that's great. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay, there you go. Yeah. So, 2 destroyers though. Oh yeah. Like the more they release like characters where break effect applies like something else to it, then it's great. Right now, the current state there's not that many, but they're changing that with Harmony Trailblazer. Like. So the issue of God fucking damn, how I have to explain like so many turn-based thingies. The issue with break effect teams is that once you break them, you don't do any damage, and that's what Harmony Trailblazer fixes.
Go on.
Like I'll lean into it more tomorrow.
You left the campsite,
I explain how his kit
we had
works.
a longer talk.
Clearly, we've only scratched the surface of the Temple of Silence question. It doesn't surprise me at all that the one in the academia is a fake.
Do you have any connection with the Temple of Silence?
I do. I trust you're all aware of the spirit that gives me my power. Hermanubis, the original founder of the Temple of Silence.
Little bro, you just literally just explain how Trailblazer's kit works. That's literally how Trailblazer works. That's literally how Trailblazer works, except for he gives it to the whole team. You just literally explain what Harmony Trailblazer does.
I was put through
and that's why he is good.
When I was younger. Later, I met the
and
professor,
not dog water.
And he brought me to Sumeru City.
So I would say pay attention when you break an enemy with Harmony Trailblazer on your team with your ulti up. You see a little icon above their head, and that means you proc Boot Hell's kit on the enemy. You don't have to be Trailblazer to proc it.
But
your allies, anybody that hits them when they're broken, procs Boot Hell's kit.
It's a good thing that
let me explain to you that way.
Without that, I don't know if we would have connected the dots and realized there was more to this case.
Like the number calculation is very confusing because it takes what is it? It takes the enemy's break effect meter, like how much it takes, and then it takes your ally's break effect, Trailblazer's break effect, or like no, it doesn't take Trailblazer's break effect. Well, it kind of does because he gives it to your team. The calculation is really messy. I don't want to freaking explain it. I just look at the freaking. So I'm sure someone did write the freaking calculations, but it's really messy.
Whether that's because I've never seen it, or because my memory fails me, it's hard to say.
Yeah, you're right. Thank goodness for Kaveh.
I don't even have to explain it to you tomorrow. This is literally how Harmony Trailblazer works.
But Cyrus must have recognized it right away, right? Otherwise, he wouldn't have had any qualms about you reporting it. Oh, maybe his connection to the Temple of Silence goes even deeper than yours.
I get why people compare Akron to Buka. I don't know.
I suspect so too. Professor has never once mentioned the Temple of Silence in conversation. And whenever the conversation turns to Hermanubis and the concept of spirit indwelling, he avoids going into any depth.
Well, speaking of avoiding things, you do realize, don't you, now that we've caught up with you, you're stuck with us for the rest of the way.
I am aware. And, or rather,
I accept it.
I don't see how I could manage to ditch you en route. So, I might as well accept that you're coming with me.
Well, I actually pronounced your route correctly.
That's right. Fact is, we're coming with you whether you like it or not. So the best option now is to try to look out for each other. Ha!
Fair enough. Then at least let me buy you a drink once we're back in the city.
Works for me. All right, off we go. Let's start by seeing what the guards here can tell us.
Actually, if Firefly does come out, it actually makes her usable. Again, I don't know if I have to explain this again. Destroyers is probably the freaking hardest unit to build.
Mahamatra Cyno?
Or like to make a good kit for.
I'm looking.
If you look at the worst units in the game,
any recent foot traffic
Physical Trailblazer, Arlen, and freaking Misha. Like those three are kind of unusable. So unique. It's not like they're so unique. It's just like they're so freaking broad.
He stopped by to load up on food and water and feed his sumpter beast. Then he was on his way.
Where was he going?
Again, destruction units are like the warriors of E7.
Let me think.
I don't think if someone plays E7, you know what I'm talking about.
The village for a while,
and how stat hungry like
the person who
warriors
came to
are.
The water. He said he was headed.
They literally use every single stat under the sun.
Near an oasis, but he didn't mention which one.
So fun. Okay, very good.
Do you have a map?
I'm really like happy that they're making break effect like very useful.
Oases.
But like, what I'm like next, like it's good that they're making it useful, but I'm sitting here like, the issue with Hoyoverse, right, or MiHoYo, they don't rework units. I have no idea why. Like, rework them, please, man. I understand because once you rework them, you have to build a character differently. But like, there's some characters in the game that are so unusable.
Great.
It's insane.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
You've got a really good memory.
Yup, like Arlen. Physical Trailblazers also, and I'm trying to think of like the really bad units. I was top 3 is definitely Arlen and Physical Trailblazer and then Misha. Misha is just like weird because he's like a freaking break effect gimmick, but he doesn't scale off break effect for some reason. Yeah, like he doesn't. It's so weird. His whole like ulti like is to hit like the enemy multiple times, but he does not scale off break effect for some reason.
You're quite welcome. Just doing my job.
Like he breaks like I think it's like 10 meters of like break bar. For some reason, he doesn't scale off that stat.
Best of luck. I hope you find him soon.
Also Hook, yup. I do feel like Hook is usable, but she's not good. Like, what was it? Arlen, Misha, and Physical Trailblazer is like not usable. Like with Hook, you could, but she's just too stat hungry. That's the issue. Warriors and the freaking Destruction is just way too stat hungry because you need effect hit rate so she can apply burn, so she can do like 20% more damage from her kit or some shit. It's also she's like giga slow as well. That does not help her at all. And she needs to be tanky, and she needs resistance because she's a freaking destroyer unit. That's the problem. They're too stat hungry.
Take it easy.
Overruled.
The problem with this unit, it takes so long to freaking engage. Like she does a lot, but damn, it does take a long time for the mark to pop.
Hold on. I see some people over there.
Do you think it's safe to ask them what they know?
I don't think it gives her 35. It's a 35% chance to ignore crowd control. There's a difference between ER and ignoring CC.
Should be.
No. I'll do it.
I think I accidentally double clicked. Whoops.
Huh? Why can't Cyno go talk to them? What difference does it make?
But again, it would be so much easier to talk to you about turn-based stuff if you played like, what is it, E7? So like the best way I can explain how like the talent where there's a chance she ignores freaking CC is like the mythical 15% chance in E7. But I don't want to explain what that is.
Given my background, appearance, and the way I dress, I might not be the most welcome visitor here. Just in case, it's probably better to let a more neutral party handle things.
I can explain more of it tomorrow if you're curious what the 15% is in E7. But imagine that with 20% more, and that's freaking Hook's freaking talent.
Ah, hello there. I hope I'm not interrupting. My friend and I are looking for an elderly man who's gone missing around these parts. Any chance I could ask you a couple of questions?
Holy frick. Imagine if like the 15% in freaking E7 was like a 35%. Holy shit, that sounds so AIDS. It's just like you cannot hit any like CC reliably at all. Holy frick, the 50% is so bad already.
Oh, a missing person, huh? Sure. What do you want to know?
I'm just wondering if you've seen him. Let me give you the details.
So, a silver-haired guy in a long robe, culture type with thoughtful eyes, and he's traveling alone.
He'd stand out like a sore thumb around here.
Yeah, sounds like the kind of guy we'd remember if we saw him.
He's looking behind me.
Brother.
Uh-oh. That guy's looking our way.
Your friend over there stands out a lot, too. Hey, aren't you Cyno, the general?
You don't have to explain how Gallagher works. I have him. I use him frequently. And I have him built.
That's me.
You don't seem surprised that I recognized you.
It wouldn't be the first time.
Oh, you're the one looking for the old man who's gone missing, aren't you?
I have a bad feeling about this guy.
Someone's on edge. You don't trust me much, do you? No need to hide it. I understand why you're wary of us. Still, you came to us asking for help. Do you want it or not?
I thought
It just
you
means
were
I
a
need to be
group
my
of
Shui.
merchants. Seems I was mistaken.
I have no gear for her, man. I don't want to farm Quantum Set because the freaking damage reduction set is so bad. Like, no one uses it. Like, you'd rather just go, like, HP % gear? That way it buffs other units that buffs that stat. You want survivability, or like a freaking Harmony unit.
But something tells me they put up a better fight than most mercenaries.
Hey, hear that, guys? You're my henchmen now.
But everyone can run Quantum? Are you those type of people that said, ah, yes, let me run the 4-piece freaking win set because it gives me a freaking CR push? That's so, like...
Suits me, as long as I get paid for it.
Just cut to the chase already.
This literally comes back to what I was talking about when I make... This is what I'm mentioning when I said make the character self-reliant. Right? Because, yes, any character can run a 4-piece Quantum set. Yeah, the enemy just has to be weak to Quantum.
Alright. Come with me. All of you.
Like the issue isn't like farming the Quantum piece. The Quantum is great. The issue is the freaking damage reduction set. Who the fuck uses that?
Silver-haired, long-robed, culture type with thoughtful eyes? Sounds like there's a whole other side to Cyrus I didn't know about.
So you know where he is?
Just follow me. I'll take you to him.
Like, this is exactly the issue with, like, people who recommend, like, to use the 4-piece win set when the character does not do any win damage. Or, like, when people, like, use, like, the Quantum set and don't do any Quantum damage. You're making the character such a niche freaking pick and not self-reliant. This is the issue. You're making the character such a niche pick. You're making them so less flexible that, you know how hard it is to build a freaking unit in a turn-based game? And you're corralling them into this small little pit. Why?
And here.
What? Where are you looking? There's nothing here.
Please?
I'm not saying you're doing it. I'm just saying anyone who recommends this is a freaking has not played turn-based games long enough to know how freaking miserable it is.
What is this enormous building doing here?
And how was it so well hidden? King Deshret's technology?
Really?
Wait,
Is every single stat, like,
hold on. Who are
used?
you guys really?
Is this the Temple of Silence? So you're a member?
All good questions. There'll be plenty of time to address them later.
Not a single wasted stat line. No flat stats. Unless the character scales off that specific flat stat. And it did not roll into the flat stat.
This is not what Paimon was expecting to find in the desert, especially not hidden right next to an oasis.
It's like... I don't know how to explain it to you, man. I just don't. You just need to suffer more turn-based games.
Oh, Paimon's scared.
Like when you say good, I'm like, it's like, have you browsed through like the Hoyle Lab forums, or like you just do your like daily logins, and you see some idiot saying, "Look how good this piece is." And you look at it, it's 3 flat stats, and like 1 stat the character like scales off of. I'm like, that is so shit. That is little shit.
They must have kidnapped Cyrus. Do you think this is the guy Rocco met in the tavern?
Like, I don't... Bro, please. Like, I feel like you have no excuse for having a flat stat and the what is it, and the head or like glove compartment. That is literally the easiest set to farm for, or like the easiest pieces. You should not have an excuse unless the character scales off specifically off that flat stat. Let's say it's like a I would say maybe. Oh god, it's gonna be so hard to explain. Okay.
What's wrong? Thinking about your professor?
So.
I just hope for your sake you haven't done anything you might regret.
Okay, so I'm gonna pull up a picture of a unit. Okay, it's not gonna be like, it's not gonna be a Honkai Star Rail character, because the whole purpose of this is how do I explain gear building to someone that says that's a good piece, but it's not actually a good piece. Like, I would say usable. Good would be like, it's all the stats you can use, and none of it is wasted. So let me. Okay, I don't think you can do this without freaking building out, like, pulling out the game. So, in Honkai Star Rail, we're lucky that certain pieces of gear cannot roll certain stats, right? Wait, how do I explain this poorly? Sorry. Substat-wise, right? Substat-wise, there's certain, you can roll all the stats really, except for like, how do I explain this? Like, I'm trying to explain this if the person doesn't know what gear building is, right? It's all the base stats that every single character uses, right? It rolls speed, attack, defense, HP, resistance, effect, hit rate, crit damage, those stats, right? All pieces in Honkai Star Rail can roll those stats, right? So like, that's why it's a little bit easier to build your units in freaking Star Rail. In E7, you don't have that luxury. The weapon slot cannot roll defense percent or flat defense. The chest piece cannot roll any attack percent or attack stats. So you have to be more picky about it, right? Let's say you're trying to, I wish I could just pull up the game, but I can't because the game's freaking dog shit on PC. But since you can't get, so you're trying to build an HP speed tank, right? So what stats you need is HP percent, flat defense, speed, ER, right? Does not affect any debuffs at all, so that stat's useless. This unit cannot crit, so crit rate and crit damage is a dead stat. If it rolls any of those stats, it is dead. Crit rate, crit damage, effect hit rate, and attack percent. Now, for the instance when I'm trying to get the sword for this unit, right? So what I'm looking for is HP percent, defense percent, speed, ER, ideally, in that circumstance. Alright? But it wouldn't be that bad if the unit goes like HP percent, defense percent, and like flat HP, and then like another stat I need that's not flat. Because, what is it? If it rolls flat HP, that unit directly scales off of it. So it's fine. But if it was like flat defense, that stat is fucking dead to me. Because it doesn't like scale up their damage or like really their freaking bulk, right? Their defense, their survivability, right? Because what is it? They scale better off HP. So I preferably, if I rolled a flat stat on that freaking piece, I want it to be HP and not roll into it. Does that make sense?
Me too.
So when someone says the piece is good, I look at it and like, if someone says a piece is good, so that piece better not have any flat defense, flat attack percent, crit rate, crit damage, effect, hit rate, none of those stats. Then that piece, I will agree, is good, right? That is good, beautiful. But it has any of those stats like the character does not use at all or scales better with. It is dog water. It is usable or unusable, or it is a filler. Like, what is it? I don't want you. Like, you can fix yourself. If that makes sense. Like, I'm not saying that you're broken to begin with, but you can make yourself better. Right? That's why whenever you say you're freaking like Acheron has like no speed, like she doesn't need it. She freaking one shots everything anyway. I'm like, well, how do I freaking break down that you need it? Because you're trying to reduce how like bad things can go, right? If let's say like for some other reason your freaking cleanser gets like freaking CC'd, I'm like, I'm not sure how you got him because you should have high ER, but now you can't cleanse your Acheron when she's like stunned and she's like 100 speed. She gets pushed down to like 20 speed or something from like in prison. You can't go. And like, for some reason, like since your cleanser is like imprisoned, and then he just gets one-shotted for some reason, you just lose. Like, you want to lessen how bad things can go, because at the end of the day, a turn-based game is like, what is it? Like 40% luck, and like what's the other 40% is knowing what you're doing, and 20% is like, what is it? 20% is, goddamn, your gear better be good. Like, so this is like, whenever I kind of wish you like watched me play like E7 ranked PvP. So, cause like I explain like why like this character is good against this, or why this character's like beats this character because they beat this character's gimmick, or like the reason why is it's just I beg of you, please. Man.
I'll inform our leader that you've arrived at the Temple of Silence.
Like, I'm pretty sure you know, like, once you get into my headspace of how to build units, I'm sure you don't, like, need to ask like, anyone ever again. You just look at the units kit and be like, damn, that's how that works. And you just boom, boom, boom.
So he's just gonna leave us here unattended? Maybe we're not being kidnapped after all.
They can't have been at the Oasis by chance. They were waiting for us. Whoever the leader is here, they were obviously counting on us showing up.
Or like whenever like what is it? There's like a trial for a character, like in Star Rail or something, and you're like, huh? Why did the devs build a unit this specific way? Or like, what stats are being wasted on these Hoyoverse like trial units? Like, I think that one instance we pulled up like a blade or something, and for some reason Hoyoverse gave him like effect hit rate. At that moment, you're like, damn, that's just a fucking dead stat. Why does he have 30% effect hit rate?
So this is the Temple of Silence. After leaving the rainforest, they hid themselves here?
Hey, look! That guy's coming back.
Don't worry. Someone will come and call for you soon.
What's your name?
Sorry, guess I was so delighted to see you, I forgot to introduce myself.
I think I might have like woken up my freaking roomies. It's freaking 10 p.m.
My name
I've been just monologuing about freaking
I'll be here
gear.
if you need me, but I'm not planning on answering all of your questions.
For some odd reason,
you can occupy yourselves however you see.
Hoyoverse, Hoyo has no good like end game, like super good end game, where you can test out your unit's capabilities, to like stress test the living shit out of it.
So we're free to explore by
like
ourselves.
None of their games have that.
Yep. I mean, I'm not worried about you running off. Cyrus is here. And unless I've misunderstood, you're all quite anxious to see him again.
He's right. Well, if we've got some time, we might as well take a look around.
There's no chest I missed, did I? When I was going on my freaking monologue, all freaking about gear. When I get very overly passionate, I start freaking lecturing about why gear, like, or like why speed or like certain stats are very important. I'm like, you don't understand. It's good. I can do the content, but it could be better.
Hey, Sethos. Have you got some time to chat?
Sure. Although, I'm assuming by chat, you mean you have questions for me? I don't blame you. Anyone else would. Not often. The Temple of Silence is a place of quiet and solitude. We don't get too many visitors. Yes, that was me. Although, tricked is a stretch. He was asking everyone in the tavern about ways to make some easy money. He insisted that nothing was off the table, even if it broke the law. So, I told him that Cyrus had embezzled a large sum of mora from the desert.
So you framed Cyrus for a crime that he did not commit?
No. That's not entirely true. Let me jog your memory. The letter just said that he had uncovered Cyrus's secret. It didn't say what secret that was. Of course, Uraka was a great accomplice, really. Very cooperative with a little bit of wine in him. Did exactly what he was told. And not much of an original thinker, though. It doesn't surprise me that he struggles academically.
Why did Cyrus leave for the desert as soon as he received the letter?
You'll have to ask him that one yourself. Certain things I can't answer for him. I'm neither judging nor defending him. All you need to know is that he recognized our emblem, and it was his own choice to take the bait. What kind of question is that? He's the General Mahamatra. Everyone in Sumeru knows who he is.
Right, but back at the Oasis, you can't have known who he was for sure, or you wouldn't have asked him. So, what we're really asking is, have you never seen him in person before?
I've lived in the desert my whole life. Guess you could say I've never had the pleasure.
Ugh, why does Paimon feel like this guy's not being straight with us?
Come on, we've only just met. If I give you all the answers up front, you'll have nothing left to look forward to. Nope, not once.
Really?
I have no need to go there. Not when the taverns are full of the Urakas of this world. Besides, we're well aware of what goes on at that place. Spies? It's not as clandestine as that. The city gates are wide open. Anyone's free to walk in. You can find out all you need to know just by walking around town and hearing the word on the street. Mm-hmm.
I never imagined that the true Temple of Silence would be hidden somewhere like this. We've passed through these parts before, but never noticed anything.
That's King Deshret's technology for you, I guess. It borders on the miraculous. Amazing to think that it's been preserved intact all this time.
We should be wary of our hosts.
So why that freaking gear lecture from took an alibi?
We can be confident that the professor is safe and sound. So that's something.
Ah, here he is.
Okay, that person just spawned in.
Grandfather, the person you wish to see is here.
Well done, Sethos. Greetings, one and all. I am Ba Moon, the current leader of the Temple of Silence. I know why you are here, and I thank you for your patience. Bring him out.
He's not beating up and everything.
Professor!
Oh, he was fine.
Cyrus, are you okay?
Oh, never mind, he's not okay.
Watch what you're doing!
Oh, my apologies. We have no intention of causing you distress. But you must understand, Cyrus is of great importance to us. We had to find a way to bring him back to us. Cyrus owes me his life, and to the Temple of Silence, he owes a debt of gratitude. I let him go a long time ago, but now, the time has come to demand payment.
I wanted to end my feud with this old bag of bones before you caught up with me. But you got here so quickly. Just leave, Cyno. This is a matter between us two old men. You're all too young to get involved.
So that's why you didn't want to report the letter. You'd made up your mind to come here from the beginning. You only left in such a hurry to try and throw us off your trail.
Some things in life catch up with you, no matter what you do. You shouldn't have come. That alone brought the others.
Cyno didn't make us do anything. We came here for the same reason he did. To rescue you. We'd appreciate you telling us the truth. Otherwise, it seems a little unfair on everyone who had to stay behind.
My secrets are secret for good reason. Bringing them to light can only lead to misfortune.
You're afraid, aren't you? You can't bring yourself to speak of your past deeds to the students you nurtured as if they were your own children. You recognized our emblem because for many years you
Among
lived
Us?
among us. Indeed, you all but became one of us. You knew as soon as you saw the letter that we, not Uraka, were the ones speaking to you. It threatened you only because you know what you did. Your own guilt convicted you. For you, Cyrus, are a traitor. You once shared your learning with us, and joined us in our mission to revive the might of Hermanubis, to bring new hope, new opportunity. But then you betrayed us. You bargained for your independence with your past contributions. And then you left, taking with you Hermanubis' might and the wielder of his power. We both know what I said to you that day. That as the leader, I grant you permission to leave, but that one day, the sands of time will catch up with you. And when that day comes, you must pay the price you owe.
Can we talk about why you put books in the freaking ceiling? Like, how the frick are you going to get that? Like a really big ladder, little bro?
You really know how to hold a grudge.
Hermanubis' might? And the wielder of his power?
Does he mean you?
Professor, anything to say?
The moon is right. I came here once before. He rescued me from the brink of death once, many years ago in the desert. When he learned that I was a scholar, he invited me to come here and revive the might of Hermanubis together. It was a great, daring plan, and one shrouded in secrecy. The Temple of Silence had been bereft of Hermanubis for too long. The strength of its faith and its warriors were waning. Bamoon proposed that we implant bar fragments, shards of Hermanubis, into the bodies of suitable vessels. If the experiment was successful, the spirit of Hermanubis would then dwell within the vessel. Many believers volunteered themselves for the experiment. But we soon discovered that the bodies of grown adults could not withstand Hermanubis' power. In the end, Bamoon offered his own adoptive grandson. One other child was identified as a suitable vessel, and his parents agreed to release him into our custody in exchange for a small fortune. These two children were our only hope for hosting Hermanubis' power.
For many years, the Temple of Silence had been in possession of 2 Ba fragments from Hermanubis. As remnants of his raw power, they were exceedingly rare treasures. The test subjects were sent into a room that had been prepared for the ceremony and instructed to approach the Ba fragments, whose power had been amplified. If, after some time, this power did not repel them, this would mean that they were suitable vessels. The original plan was for a 3-stage experiment: resonance, implantation, and recovery and observation. The resonance stage went quite smoothly for both candidates. As the 2nd stage began, I realized a decision had to be made. Should we implant the fragments one at a time? This would allow us to monitor the results after the first round and adjust our plan accordingly. Or alternatively, we could implant each fragment in a different vessel at the same time and compare their effects. But as I was deliberating, both Ba fragments suddenly became active. They glowed with a light we had never seen before. I knew that if they were not implanted right away, they would disintegrate and be gone from the world for good.
How you know?
Our 2 vessels had both displayed great promise by successfully resonating with the fragments. Under the circumstances, the thought of implanting both fragments into the same vessel seemed out of the question. To preserve our faith and our power, we implanted each of them with a single fragment.
Ultimately, I ended the experiment and left, taking one of the children with me.
In recognition of your past contributions, I chose not to send someone to hunt down and kill you both. Your lives were spared, but I have paid a great price for your betrayal ever since. I have always wanted to see you, Cyno. Losing you and your Ba fragment dealt us a devastating blow. We've been in decline ever since you left.
I see. So that's how I gained my power.
Look, in essence, I borrowed your Ba fragment for a decade or so. And now you are seeking justice. If you want to take my life, then so be it. I'm an old man now anyway. But you cannot lift a finger against Cyno. He is the General Mahamatra. Your actions would be seen as a declaration of war against the Academia.
I'm sure you don't remember anymore, dear Cyno, but you've met us all before. You were so young then, when we all gathered around and celebrated the revival of our Lord. You and he, Sethos, you were our final hope.
You'd like me to return my power?
As a follower of Hermanubis, I have allowed this power to remain in the rainforest for far too long. Now, it is time to reclaim it.
That power is not yours to reclaim. Cyno was chosen by the gods. You cannot take what they have bestowed.
You are wrong. Cyno was chosen, but he was not the only one. My child, Sethos, has the same gift as he.
So those are your terms for freeing the professor?
Despise me all you want. My sins are my own. The Temple of Silence is an innocent party. It is because of my foolishness all those years ago that the Temple's glory has waned. And now I must take responsibility for the decision I made back then.
So what you're saying is, the power of one Ba fragment is not enough? You're asking me to return the one in my possession, so it can be implanted in him instead?
Divine power causes great suffering to those who wield it. How do you know that Sethos would be able to withstand it?
He is no longer a small child. But regardless, this burden is ours to bear. And your objections mean little given that you turned your back on us long ago.
Both my heart and mind are telling me that what you are proposing is a terrible idea. However...
Don't listen to him, Cyno. That power is no more yours to give than it is his to take. You'll have to understand.
I know. But if this is a question of your freedom versus a fragment of power, then there is nothing to debate.
Sorry to interrupt, but in my view, there are a number of contentions here that still need addressing. Say that Cyno refuses to return his power, and you also refuse to release Cyrus. Then, we are at an impasse. I find it hard to believe that you went to all this effort without planning for that possibility. You're trying to gauge where we stand while keeping your remaining cards close to your chest. Well, my stance is, put the rest of your cards on the table. Then we can have a discussion.
Wait, those ears. So, we have a descendant of the Valuka Shuna in our midst. Splendid.
Wait. He just monologued the whole entire time without noticing those freaking ears at the size of his head. Are you serious?
Everything we have longed for, Hermanubis will provide. Perhaps this very day we'll...
Why is he coughing so much? He looks like he's in really bad shape.
Pamoon, you...
Take our leader back to his room.
Sethos, you must...
Grandfather, I know what you wish to say. Leave this in my hands. I don't like to drag out conversations, so I'll just cut to the chase. Had Cyrus not stopped the experiment all those years ago, the plan would most likely have been a success. The wisdom of Hermanubis would have been ours. Still, it's no use talking about what-ifs. We cannot change the past. I'm not like my grandfather. The Temple of Silence has a grand legacy and a sacred duty to fulfill. So it's somewhat inevitable for the leader to have an inflated sense of self. But I see things a little differently. I don't believe the temple has the same stature that it once did. Time has worn away at its prestige
Where'd he go?
and changed things almost beyond recognition. So I'm not going to force your hand. You're all free to leave. Except for Cyrus. My grandfather gave him his chance once. And now I'm giving the rest of you yours.
You have courage and wise judgment, kid. Reminds me a lot of Pamoon in his younger years. I truly wish that the temple would take an objective look at the academia of today. You've been to the city yourself.
Wait, he lied when he said he'd never been to the city.
Much has changed for the better, and things will only continue to improve. Why not consider cooperating with the academia once more?
If you hadn't betrayed my grandfather, I might well be open to persuasion. But it's a bit too late for that now, Cyrus.
Tainari made a good point earlier. He said there has to be more to your plan than this, and I agree. All you and Ba Moon are after is the Ba fragment. The professor will accept whatever fate you deem fit for him out of a sense of guilt. I am the one who has a choice to make. And that's how it was always going to be. Ultimately, you want to trade the Ba fragment for the professor, correct?
I'm glad to see you're giving it some serious consideration.
I won't forsake my professor. Nor do I intend to run from a problem that I must face sooner or later. Give me one night to make my decision.
That works. Then I'll be waiting to hear your verdict, Cyno. Oh, my grandfather still has a fair few things he wants to say to Cyrus, so I'll be escorting him back now.
Are you sure about negotiating with him?
I need to think this through. Everyone, let's meet again later tonight. Until then, take some time for yourself.
Alright, well, don't put too much pressure on yourself, Cyno. If you need any help working things out, just come and find us.
I'm sure he just keeps his powers because, like, it make no sense. And remove his power and he comes with like a freaking 4-star now. That'd be really funny though. Is there actually no chest in here? Wait, how do you even... Wait, how do you... how do you even reach the books up there? Huh? What kind... You can't even put a ladder here, you just fall to your death. Fucking madness. Is it 24 tonight or tomorrow?
I've taken some time to reflect on this. If I had to guess, Professor Cyrus came to the desert knowing that he would almost certainly never return. He's a stubborn man who tends to double down when he feels strongly about something. We won't get anywhere trying to convince him to escape.
I agree. My master Nephis says the same thing. Once Cyrus makes up his mind about something, he won't listen to reason.
So that's one thing. A few other things come to mind too. You've heard all you need to hear about the Temple of Silence. So on that, I don't have anything to add. My own memories of this place are hazy though. Probably something to do with the overpowering presence of the Ba fragments. That might explain why I suffered from constant headaches and fevers as a child. I do remember having some fleeting moments of profound emotion when vague images would appear in my mind. But I don't recall much, only bits and pieces. I was still young then, and all I could understand was that there was a strong will inside my mind. Thinking back on it now, I suppose it was Herm Anubis' way of trying to encourage me, even if we couldn't communicate. The power that came to inhabit my spirit was probably one of the cornerstones of their whole faith. So if the will and might of Herm Anubis is a real, intangible thing, and they are its rightful worshippers, then...
You're not gonna give in to their demands, are you? Surely there has to be another way.
Surely.
No. I have no intention of returning it. I need this power to protect Sumeru. But the temple has the right to make the final decision over its fate, since it belongs to one of the 7 pillars of King Deshret. So I will challenge them head on, and win the right to wield this power for myself. Fair and square.
Well, you're gonna win, because you're a 5-star unit.
This reminds me of something Alhaitham mentioned to me just before we left. He said that the Temple of Silence was originally founded by the ruling elite of the day. Traditionally, such organizations are bound by a strict and ancient code of nobility. Kaveh has made similar observations about the desert tribes from his work trips there. He says many of them have their own internal rules. They talk about the importance of never dishonoring their tribal bonds, or the rules laid down by their ancestors. I think we could turn that to our advantage. Go back to them with a proposal of our own.
Wow, and just like that, we've turned the tables on them.
Looks like we have the same idea. Turn it back on them now while we still can, in terms that they cannot refuse. That's how we win this.
Great. And I know just how to start the conversation. Let's go find Sethos. We'll tell him that I know a thing or two about medicine and would like to take a look at his grandfather's condition.
consume so much stamina, but it looks so cool. It's worth it, sir. Consume it. The forbidden fruit.
Sethos, let's talk.
Have you made up your mind?
We'll get to that, but first, I have some degree of medical training, so I was wondering if you might let me take a look at your grandfather?
I have no objections, although we do have our own doctors here. I doubt you'll be able to tell us anything we don't already know.
Only one way to find out.
Follow me. Keep your voices down. We don't want to disturb him.
Let's talk outside. Bamoon has fallen into a deep coma, and his prognosis is quite grave. I'm sure that your physicians have come to the same conclusion. He appears to have sustained a serious injury in his youth, which has been exacerbated over the years by the heavy burden of work and now by the effects of old age. Regretfully, I must inform you that based on what I've seen with patients in a similar condition, he doesn't have long left. A few days at most.
Yeah. I've known for a long time.
You're his heir, aren't you? You clearly have a lot of respect for the man. But you also see things differently. You have a broader range of concerns and a more pragmatic approach. So tell me how we can end this on your terms. Let's find a way to bring all this to a resolution while Bamoon is still alive to see it. That's what really matters to you. I know it.
Yeah, there's no time to waste here. You know that better than anyone.
You know, the two of you are actually in a very similar predicament right now. Both of you have a very different perspective from the men who raised you.
Right. And you didn't create this situation. They did, but somehow you've ended up having to make the tough decisions.
You're right. We both look at this problem very differently than the people we inherited it from. I accept, Cyno. This all began because of Hermanubis. So let's end it with the rite he himself created. Legend has it that when Hermanubis first arrived in Tuletula, he sparred with the city's residents. He and his two companions proved their mettle by fighting over several days, winning the support of many fine people.
A duel to the death, sire.
Were some of the first members of the Temple of Silence, and the sparring matches were enshrined as one of our founding rites, the rite of duels. It's where it all began.
Sounds very fitting. I'm in.
As a fellow vessel of Hermanubis, your ties to the Temple of Silence run deep. So I will permit you to participate in this rite, along with your chosen companions.
3 against 3. Sounds good.
However, I have some additional terms. As the challengers, you must win all 3 of your fights to win. And Cyno, both of us must put our Ba fragment on the line. The winner takes them both. Letting Cyrus leave with one of the Ba fragments was a mistake, made by my grandfather out of pity. It is a long-standing issue that must be addressed for the Temple of Silence to move forward. I can make no concessions on that front.
None needed. We're on the same page. If I win, the Temple of Silence must release Cyrus, and consider this past dispute resolved. If you win, I'll return my power to you.
It's a deal. Then let's meet at the ceremonial hall tomorrow evening, 8 o'clock.
Well, why we gotta meet out back at the school at that time? Man? Just do it right now. We don't have to wait. We can fight right now. Have to be a Giga Chad based. Oh wait, you based Giga Chad. There you go. I put it in the reverse order.
After
Oops.
how that went, there's definitely no turning back now.
There never was. Turning back hasn't been an option for me since the moment the professor slipped away to return to the desert.
You have to win. You need this power, both as General Mahamatra and for yourself.
Yeah, that's right. Besides, it stayed with you ever since you were a small child. Surely that's a sign it thinks of you as its rightful owner.
Both as General Mahamatra and for myself. Yeah, when you put it that way. I've had to overcome a lot to tame this power and claim it for myself. Not everyone could have done that.
Exactly!
The Traveler and I will never lose.
Yeah, we're both meta units.
And neither shall I.
At least the Danjo version.
The desert was home to an ancient and great civilization that, for a variety of reasons, fell out with the civilization of the rainforest. It's just as Dia said. Prejudice has pushed people apart. But there must be personal factors at work here, too. I can't shake the feeling that Ba-Moon cares for many more things than he lets on. And I don't think that Zethos is any kind of villain. He's just doing what he thinks is best. Tomorrow, everything will be resolved.
This is a very long character episode. I think we've been going for like 3 hours now. It's literally longer than the event, which is actually kind of crazy. Why does that consume so much stamina? Why is my stamina bar so small?
Take it easy.
We gather on this day to perform once more the rite of duels, with the greatest of all sages, Lord Hermanubis, as our witness, for his power and authority is present in our midst. This is our most sacred of ceremonies, and no disruption from the audience shall be tolerated. It is incumbent upon all to observe the duel with the utmost respect and reverence throughout the proceedings. Representing the Temple of Silence, the Defenders.
Wait, it's just one guy.
Grandfather, you're here.
A rite of duels after all these years. I am surprised by your decision, Zethos.
I know what I'm doing, Grandfather. Just leave it to me.
Aren't you like a 4-star unit?
Representing the Academia, the Challengers.
Ready. We will fight to have our voices heard.
Warriors, take your positions and decide on the order of battle. We come not to debate what brings our challengers here, nor what will become of the defeated duelists. Duelists, the might of Hermanubis himself is at stake here. Now, fight. Fight until the rightful victor is proclaimed.
Huh? Are you sure?
I agree. He's very strong. Sending him out first will definitely intimidate the opposing side.
Yeah, the Danjo version is
Okay,
strong.
then you're second.
Everything else is kind of okay. Actually, you know what?
We have decided.
3 is kind of...
So have we. Let's begin.
Yeah, 3 elements are kind of unusable.
Duelists of the first bout, please step forward.
You might get clapped with a 2-star sword.
Don't forget, safety first! Hey, you there! You better play nice with them or Paimon will make you regret it!
A little bit too much chatter from the audience over there.
Hey!
Literally the only usable trailblazer. That's it?
A swift end to the first bout. I now invite the duelists of the second bout to please step forward. When you're both ready, you may begin.
Let's begin.
Watch out!
He drank plenty of water before the bout, so he should be fine.
Hydration is important.
One with the force. I'll uproot you!
I mean, also doesn't help that I know how to play him. But then again, every character's
Thus
game
ends the second
simple.
bout. We will now move to the third bout. Duelists, please step forward.
I'm ready.
So am I.
This is the final stage of the rite. I remind you both that the terms you agreed upon in advance are binding. When you're both ready, you may begin.
I am Sethos, vessel of Hermanubis, grandson of Bamoon, the leader of the Temple of Silence. For many years, we have kept our covenant with Lord Hermanubis by guarding the secrets of King Deshret.
He's monologuing, therefore he's gonna lose.
Hour, when we could not see a way forward, we chose not to abandon hope, but to embark on a brave new experiment so that we might prevail. We earnestly sought Lord Hermanubis' wisdom and power, longing to see his spirit and his light descend upon us. Now, I will fight to become the rightful wielder of that power.
I am Cyno, General Mahamatra of the Academia, student and successor of Cyrus, the Sage of Spantamad. I fight in defense of my power, my professor, and my nation. And you, I think you left some things unsaid. This is a sacred duel, and Hermanubis is watching. So bare your soul.
Everyone, old and young, fit and frail, they're all waiting to see how this duel will end. My grandfather is a wise leader. He is also known to be a ruler who is not afraid to get blood on his hands. I understand his beliefs well, and I know what he expects of me, but our faith has held us back for too long. After I grew up, I went to the rainforest once, and I saw for myself the people of the city. Times have changed. The people of Sumeru are happier and more free now than in the past. I thought about this as I stood at one of the tallest points in the city, gazing down at the streets below. Then I thought of you, Cyno. You and I both wield the same power.
We're the same, you and
The lives we lead.
We could rule the city together.
Each Ba fragment
Or
of Hermanubis
we can just fight to the
stands
death.
for something different. Might, glory, one of many other secrets that have yet to be revealed. I once thought that the nature of our fragments must be what makes us so different from one another. But maybe it's that you've found your answer, and I am still searching for mine.
I am more than just a warrior. I am my own person.
Exactly.
The name Hermanubis has left its mark on both of us, shaped the course of our lives.
Dang, he's gonna lose for how much? He's
are
monologuing
his
so long.
vessels. And yet we are
He's
more
gonna get clapped,
besides.
bro. The longer you monologue, the
So
more like
show me your
you just take
answer,
L's.
Cyno.
I found the L.
Show me I can be more than my faith, more than the power I wield. Show me the person I can become. Bring it on!
Do you actually do anything? Oh, it's a cutscene. Wait, we have budget? I guess this is where all the budget went into some of the event. It's the combat scene for this.
That's all you've got? What happened is searching for your answer.
He's a 4-star character, right? I feel like he's a 4-star. Because usually the 4-star one's small along the line. Come on, Underwalker didn't spend all the punch on this. This fight's been going on for like a whole like solid 2 minutes, I think.
Fight's over. Do you yield?
You won.
Well then, looks like you found your answer.
I give his glory to you.
So does he become like a 6-star character?
I've seen that light. That is the light of our Lord, the great Hermanubis, priest over
Like, he doesn't become like a 6. Like he has two. He has the whole piece now. He has the one piece. It's real.
And his will lives on. Once a warrior of Tynar, he emerged from the barren desert sands to serve the god king Al-Ahmar. After the death of the god king, Hermanubis gathered his followers and the Tynarian priests and led them to the city of Tule-Tula. There, they founded the Temple of Silence. And from that day forth, we became
bro, I can't read the
stewards of
white
all
on
knowledge
white.
that survived from King Deshret's civilization. Barely a century passed before war ravaged the desert. One by one, Eremite leaders took up arms against each other in battles that would devour what little remained of their civilization. Only the wise city of Tule-Tula was spared under the guiding hand of the Tynarians. But peace did not last. Coveting the knowledge of King Deshret, the beasts set their eyes on Tule-Tula. The king of Gurabad laid siege to the city and ordered the sages to surrender to him the Temple of Silence as proof of his victory. The ruling elite colluded with their oppressors, betraying the temple so as to hold on to their rule over the city. They declared that the knowledge guarded by the temple was the true cause of corruption. These were dark days, and we faced enemies on all sides. Our Lord had long since exhausted his strength, keeping the forbidden knowledge introduced by King Deshret at bay. To ensure the temple's continued survival, he broke his being into many pieces and began the ceremony of Hermanubis' legacy, bestowing his power upon his mortal followers. With this power, the temple was able to defeat the tyrant's army. Yet, we were not hailed as heroes. Strange and unfamiliar as this power was, it struck fear into the people's hearts and drove them to reject us. In the end, the people of the temple and the Tule-Tula Tynarians left the city for good and made their way to the rainforest. What followed next was inevitable. The elite of Tule Tula fell and were decimated. War engulfed the desert. And we wandered from place to place, always in hiding, all the while keeping close watch over our secrets.
I've been sitting here like for like 10 minutes now or something, right?
Forced us out of the desert and into the forest. Then mistrust drove us from the forest into the desert once more. We have lived in exile for far, far too long. Yet, today, the Temple of Silence has borne witness to the glory of Hermanubis once more. Thank you.
How is it? Do you feel okay?
You die watching the battle? Wow, this is actually the one time we've seen someone die, like, on screen. I mean, I guess, like, didn't get decapitated or anything, just kind of fell asleep, you know, just kind of died of cringe.
Grandfather.
Hey, Sethos. You'll get through this.
I know. I'll miss him.
I guess you were prepared for this. It's been a long time coming, huh?
Yeah. He's been on death's door for a very long time now. I think it was only through sheer willpower that he managed to hold on to this point. At least, he was able to see this chapter come to a close before he passed.
What's next for you?
Per my grandfather's last wishes, the Temple of Silence should submit to whoever possesses the largest number of Hermanubis fragments. That entitles you to be our new leader, Cyno.
But that's never going to work, as I'm sure you realize. I'm the General Mahamatra. I am needed back at the Academia. I did foresee this possibility, and I gave it some thought. The fact is, I know next to nothing about the staff, records, and environment here. As such, I am ill-suited to be your leader, Sethos. I believe the honor should go to you. Were it not for this duel, or indeed if you had other intentions, the Ba fragments would most likely be in your hands by now. I'm sure Bamoon never meant for anyone but you to be his successor.
You really think so?
I do.
Still, I didn't think Bamoon looked very surprised by the final result. Perhaps he had an inkling that this would be the way things end.
Well, in any case, since the Ba fragments are with me now, I guess I can call the shots. Sethos, I would like you to succeed Bamoon as the new leader of the Temple of Silence. You are more suited to the role than I, and I have complete faith that you will be an excellent leader.
Oops. I actually
found
render
everything that we've been through up to now meaningless?
No, it doesn't. This experience has allowed us to become friends, which means that the Academia and the Temple of Silence will become partners once more. That's a much bigger deal than you might think, Sethos. You said yourself, times have changed. You have to believe that things can change for the better here at the Temple too.
I will try. To be honest, I couldn't have asked for a better outcome.
Actually, part of me wonders whether Bamoon's intentions from the very beginning was just to create enough pressure to force us towards a duel. That way, no matter who won, one of us would have to surrender our Ba fragment, and the power of Hermanubis would be concentrated in one single person. Had you won, the Temple of Silence would have doubled its strength. And were I to win, he correctly anticipated that I wouldn't suddenly drop everything to become the leader of the temple, much less integrate the temple into the academia by force. He knew that the temple's future would depend not just on the guidance of Hermanubis, but the support of the academia too. So he made it his responsibility to ensure his successor would be free from the burdens of the past. His plan meant that whoever ended up succeeding him, they would have an easier time interacting with the academia. With one single letter, he lured out the professor. No matter what happened after that, it would result in a net benefit to the temple.
And here I thought the General Mahamatra wouldn't care for all these trivial details. You're absolutely right. Grandfather and I considered this from every angle. We had to find a way to mend our relationship with the academia. In that sense, the right of duels was just a means to an end. Thank you for everything, Cyno. As a gesture of our gratitude, to those that you and Lesser Lord Kusanali deem worthy, I will grant the honor of access to the Temple of Silence for their pursuit of knowledge. The Temple of Silence has a wealth of information on King Deshret's civilization, more than any other organization in existence today. In times when you need information that only we can provide, we will be here to support you. But you must be exceedingly careful with your selection of candidates, lest you lead humanity to repeat the same mistakes. By the way, Tainari, my grandfather was so happy to see you. You are a descendant of the Veluca Shuna, and we are the heirs to the will of Hermanubis. The story goes that King Deshret chose the sage Hermanubis from among the Tainarians and appointed him as his familiar. He went on to fight many valiant battles with his Tainarian companions. They always stood by each other, from the founding of the Temple of Silence to the fall of Tuletula. The Tainarians who left Tuletula joined their human counterparts in the rainforest. A few centuries later, when some of the group returned to the desert, many of the Tainarians chose to stay and put down roots in the rainforest. In all likelihood, those were your ancestors.
How fascinating. My father once mentioned that I was named after the Tainarians, but I never knew that my forebears had such a history with the Temple of Silence.
I like this story.
By the way, has anyone seen Cyrus?
Yes. Cyrus. You'll probably find him in my grandfather's room. He wouldn't show it in front of me, but I think he still has many fond memories of my grandfather.
If it's true that you and your grandfather really planned for everything to turn out this way, then I guess he didn't really resent Cyrus as much as he appeared to.
Who knows? Perhaps all of us. You, me, and Cyrus. We're all just pawns in my grandfather's plan to set things straight. He was awful like that.
Someone's got to make the decisions when history is at a crossroads. I will make a detailed report on all of this to Lesser Lord Kusanali, and arrange for an official delegation from the academia to come and meet you in the desert. I'm sure you'll have lots to attend to in the days ahead. But once things return to normal, please come and visit the rainforest again. You should stay for a few days this time, and start to build some relationships. If we're going to work together, both sides have to get to know one another better.
I will. All right. Well, bye for now, everyone. I'll be seeing you.
See you soon. Come hang out with us anytime.
Holy frick, that was so long. Bangers. The animation, nutty.
Grandfather.
That probably cost like millions.
We achieved what we set out to do. From this day on, the Temple of Silence has the chance to work with the academia once more. Real change. Real opportunities. They are now within our grasp.
This is a freaking big giant tomb, by the way. Jesus. Like, do you really need all that girth? Come on now. That shit like real girthy.
Adventure time.
What were you thinking, gallivanting off into the desert alone at your age? What if you take the bucket, You told not a soul what you were up to, designated nobody to handle your affairs, and left everyone scrambling frantically to try and figure out how on earth to clean up the colossal mess you'd made.
But he's retired. He isn't holding power, right?
Oh, please, will you stop your yelling? What other choice did I have?
What do you mean, what other choice? Do you mean to tell me that after all your years of learning, and sagehood no less, the only idea you could conjure up in that white-haired walnut of yours was to shoot off into the unknown like some hot-headed 20-year-old adventurer? A one-man suicide mission, That's the best idea that one of the finest minds of a generation could come up with, is it? It astounds me that you survived the journey, and you're lucky that Ba Moon didn't finish you off when you arrived.
All right, all right. Honestly, the way you're going off on me, it's like you wish you'd been there to lend him a hand. Does it mean nothing to you that I'm your colleague and former classmate?
I've got nothing more to say. What's the point of berating an old bag of bones?
What do you mean, bag of bones? I'm a flesh and blood hero who, despite his old age, saved our General Mahamatra from being stripped of his powers. Okay, look. Fine, I admit it, I was in the wrong. How can I make it up to you? What about, a month's work at the Academia?
1 month? Try 3.
Inari's master is really laying into Cyrus. Let's give them a wide berth.
Professor brought this on himself. Don't pay any attention to him.
Wow, I haven't seen Master get this riled up in a long time. The last time he chewed someone out like this must have been back when I was still a student.
I think I'll go around and update everyone. Tell them the situation's resolved. Want to come with me? We can go for dinner afterwards. My treat. You in?
Makes sense. I'm in.
Hyman's coming too! Let's go!
Dang, it'd be nice if it just ended there, but alright.
You'd better start packing your things. Report for work first thing tomorrow morning. I'll be waiting for you.
What about my allowance? Oh, and is lunch covered? How about dinner?
Don't push your luck. Let's not forget who is compensating whom here.
Hey, man's gotta eat. Help me figure out something for lunch at least. I'm counting on you.
Hey, Kale.
You're back! Well, look who we have here. Would you mind explaining to me what has been going on this past few days? I heard you all ran off into the desert and got embroiled in a major catastrophe.
All taken care of.
That does not answer my question. How could you be so careless? That goes for you as well. Yes, and you too. When you run into problems, you really ought to ask for help, you know? I've been around the block. Don't you think it would have made sense to involve me? And let's not forget, I know the desert like the back of my hand.
Now would not be a good time to attempt to argue with Farazan.
You're right.
Mm-hmm. It's not the first time that I've had to talk to you about this sort of thing either. You need to learn that there are times when the right thing to do is get a more experienced member of staff involved. Do I make myself clear? Because if you don't,
Kale, please do something.
He's giving me the signal. All right, guess it's time to play my ace in the hole. Say, Madame Farazan, I can see you're pretty upset, but, I was just wondering, remember that time you offered to give me a tour of the Academia? Does that offer still stand? Huh? Wait, did I hear that right? Kale, you remember? Wonderful. Well, of course the offer still stands. Come on, Madame Farazan will show you around the old classrooms. Poor Kale getting dragged off like that. Also, check out Farazan acting like some sort of official academia tour guide.
Kale, cup.
Huh? What? Oh, right. What do you mean, cup? You need a cup. I can get you a cup. Oh, it's nothing. Just Master's way of reminding me to stay hydrated while I'm out and about.
Huh.
It's code for let's reconvene at the cafe. Tighnari and I used it while we were in school, and it's become something of a family tradition now.
Oh, that's kind of fun.
2 people left. Let's bring them along too.
It's a Kave and what is it? The scribe. It's a real shame. I can't remember his. I hate them. And also, I can't remember his name, but I remember his title. Damn, I've been. What time is it? Oh Jesus, it's almost midnight. I don't think I'll be able to wake up tomorrow.
Am I hallucinating? Or do I see Kaveh and Alhaitham engaged in diligent studying?
We're just reorganizing all the books we used. Look, there's a whole mountain of them.
There's no rush. Nobody reads these books anyway.
My sincere thanks to you both.
Yes, with your help, we resolved the issue rather swiftly and painlessly. And the outcome was better than we could have hoped for.
I see. The Temple of Silence resorted to rather unique means of self-preservation. It explains how they managed to remain hidden for so many years.
And it sounds like they managed to preserve a whole load of ancient documents as well. I'd love to go check those out if I ever had the chance.
That day will come. The Temple of Silence is a hugely important organization, and we'll be sure to maintain good relations with them in the future. Now, as a token of my appreciation, I'd like to treat everyone to coffee.
Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds great. Although after the last few days, I don't know if I can handle another coffee. But I can just order something else.
Sure. Let's go.
Oh my goodness, the angle I just witnessed with my eyes. That's not. I was not mentally ready for this. Jesus. Ooh. What the frick? I was not prepared for that.
The Traveler just pounced on their opponent and knocked him right out cold. Then there was Tighnari. He put up an amazing fight too. We ended up winning all 3 bouts. Whoa. Part of me wishes I'd been there to see it, but I'd have been biting my nails off worrying about you guys.
A truly edifying account of the events. Bereft of detail, but it has livened up the room all the same.
Hey, Paimon included all the juicy details. The Traveler just pounced and then waved their sword like this, then spun around and blocked.
Despite winning 3 bouts in a row, you still ceded the position of leader to him. That's very dignified of you, Cyno.
Of course. Being dignified comes with being a true champion.
I got to be a champion too for once. I've not sparred much with desert folk before. It was a pretty unique experience.
Yeah! Huge place! It felt like something right out of an epic poem! Imagine this. It was like there was...
Maybe save that one for later, Paimon. Dessert's here.
I think that'll do me for today.
Shall we stop off at the House of Dana again before heading home? We should probably finish putting all those books back.
My thoughts exactly. See you around.
I should get going as well. See you all later. Make sure you get some good rest tonight.
I need to go say thanks to the Core 30 for their help. Also, Sir Nephis says he wanted to introduce me to some of the Academia's work processes. So, I gotta dash too.
Kali's come a long way. She's much more confident at dealing with other people these days.
Everyone's a work in progress. You never stop learning.
Yeah, true.
They're still going? It's not the end? I feel like this is the end.
That was good. It feels like everything's finally wrapped up now. Life is all about these moments when you can finally relax and hang out with good friends after a job well done. And also, those desserts Cyno got, they were really good. Paimon definitely needs more of those in the future.
Do you three have anything planned for the rest of the day? If not, would you come somewhere with me? That's a secret for now. Wouldn't want to spoil the surprise.
Okay, I think I can guess what you're talking about. It'll definitely be a nice surprise.
Well, now Paimon's curious. Come on, let's go.
Hey, I feel like there's so many good places to like stop this, but alright. It just keeps on going. I feel like when you said, yeah, true, fade to black, thin.
Been a while since I last made my way up here.
Wow, look at this place! We're so high up!
Need any help? As you wish.
It's a nice spot, isn't it?
What a great view! We're so high up, we can see for miles!
Traveler. Turn around.
Sithos? Oh, is this a view? I'm pretty sure he was like at this spot too.
This is my secret base. Somewhere I only bring my best friends. When I was a student, I used to slip away and climb up here all the time, just to clear my head. I was quite young then, and hadn't made too many friends yet. Back then, I had a lot of the same questions that Sethos was asking. Who am I? Why do I have this power? And what should I be fighting for?
What am I
Our
fighting
gifts
for?
help us to find our rightful place in the world. That was my experience. And I'm sure Sethos will figure things out in his own time, too.
You two really are like brothers.
I feel the same way. Of course. I see no need to be humble when it comes to the facts.
I still remember one time when we came up here to chat and do our homework. Cyno accidentally dropped a fruit. Luckily, he has fast reflexes, so he caught it just in time.
That was the one and only time. Nothing will ever slip through my fingers again.
Those were good times. I kind of miss the student life.
You know, Paimon really shouldn't be able to imagine Cyno doing something like that, but for some strange reason, the mental image is coming through clear as day.
Then make it stop. There's somebody there. It's Professor Cyrus. You guys carry on without me. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Huh? Hey, you're not supposed to jump down. Be careful.
Here's a glider. That's fine. But is it really necessary to swap over to Cyno?
Oh my days. I can't believe how stupid I look in this one.
Professor, what are you muttering to yourself about?
Cyno, just the man I'm looking for. Guess what I found in some old notebooks?
Some old photos?
Can you believe it? This notebook was just sitting in a pile of odds and ends in the Sage's office. I must have forgotten to take it with me, and no one's touched it since. It was still right there. I was at the Academia earlier to discuss my workload with Nephis. I swung by the old office to have a look around and just happened to cross it. Well, time flies. Look how tiny you are in this picture. Still a kid.
You look quite young yourself in that one. Ah, it's this one. I remember that. Lisa took it, didn't she?
Yep. Looks like her work, all right. Who else could have found just the right angle to make me look so unbelievably hideous?
And this one. Looks like we're both dozing off.
Oh, cheeky girl. Taking secret photos of us without our knowledge.
Is there something you'd like to say to me, Professor?
Like what? Like, these are good photos, aren't they? Hey, at moments like this, I hardly know where to begin. I can't pretend I'm a good person. But Moon had every reason to despise me. And well, so do you if you feel the same way.
Don't be ridiculous, you old codger.
Is that not what you wanted me to say? Oh, I've dreamt of that place many times after leaving the desert. Sometimes I've dreamed that I was doing research with them again. And other times, I dream of the day they saved my life. Oh, it was one of the happiest times of my life. We all learned so much from one another. You've matured so much over the years, Cyno.
Since you're my professor, I should save you some face by not calling you out on all the non-answers you just gave. So, I will do the right thing and keep my mouth shut.
Good thinking. Take your own advice next time. Seriously, why bully an old man like me? I thought heroes were supposed to be gracious. Hey, wait, how did I not notice this one earlier?
Lisa strikes again. Just how many did she take?
Look how cute you were when you were little. I remember how well-mannered you were back then, too.
Yeah, and look how serious and professional you used to be.
Oh, I can't compete with you anymore. First you get better than me at the deadpan jokes, and now you're besting me at those little quips, too.
Don't say that. I still have a lot of respect for you.
That's more like it. Hey, what would you say to meeting up with Lisa again sometime?
I'd like that. Let's find a time and pay her a visit in Mondstadt.
All right, I'll add it to my schedule. Let's go next week. Wait, no. Next week is the tomato growing competition. I have got to beat Zaha Hadid.
Or you could find a real hobby, Professor.
That's a thing? There's a tomato growing... Wait, what?
Great view today. This atmosphere calls for a joke out of left field, to catch the listener unawares.
Time has passed too quickly. The children have all grown up, but it turns out grown-up kids are no use. When Nephis comes after me, Cyno still can't do anything to protect me. Oh, that boy.
Holy frickin', that gave me some level ups. Don't give a shit about that. Yeah, we'll call it a night. I'm so tired. I think at some point you just realize I just stopped talking. It's midnight. I'm tired. I don't usually stay up this late. My body is literally on fire. Or like, wait, is it on fire? How do I describe this? Your body feels like hot and heavy. That is not the right way. That doesn't sound right either. Fuck your survey, Hoyo. You don't freaking listen to me. It was good. They spent like so much budget on the freaking fight scene though, for like Cyno versus Sethos. I sat there for like a solid 2 or 3 minutes or something, just seeing them freaking fight each other. I'm like, damn. Maybe that's why the the Arataki event was so short, like 2 hours. So I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, I mean, I would say it was kind of worth, honestly. We saw like freaking Bull Chucker like singing. I was like, damn, truly, the Giga Chad. But anyway, chat. Good night, and I think if I do stream tomorrow, it'll be like kind of late. So I think around like 2 p.m. again, 2 p.m. Central Time. You want to see like Honkai Star Rail stuff? We'll finish like the main story again, and then we'll do the I'll talk about how Harmony Trailblazer works and stuff like that, or like build suggestions. So if you have any questions about that game, I can break it down to you. If you like witness me monologuing about how like gear like building kind of worked, or like what I prefer when I'm building, then you can get more of that, instead of more personalized, because we're on that subject and I can talk more about it. But good night, and I'll see everyone tomorrow for Honkai Star Rail. Peace.